The NBA season kicks off tonight with 3 games and 2 very interesting matchups, plus a ton of intrigue. Welcome into the Sporting News Studios. I'm Tom Vandervoort, and joining me now on the phone, our NBA writer Sean Deveney. And Sean, just break down these 2 games for me, starting with the Celtics-Heat.
Well, the Celtics and the Heat are going to be an interesting matchup. They've, of course, been sort of battling for the Eastern Conference for the last few years here. And there is a lot of animosity between these 2 teams, even before what happened in the offseason. And, of course, that big move was Ray Allen going from the Celtics to the Heat. And, all eyes are going to be on Ray in this game. There's been a lot of back and forth between Ray Allen and his former teammates.
And how about the Mavs-Lakers game in L.A.?
It's going to be an interesting debut for the Lakers. They have not played well at all in the preseason. They really have looked like a team that's very disjointed. They're not 100% healthy. But this is going to be the start of the grand experiment for them with Steve Nash and Dwight Howard aboard. We're going to have to see how all this is going to work. They've got a new offense that they're trying to put in. Of course, they're going to have to make some serious defensive adjustments. You have Dwight Howard in the middle. That's going to be an interesting development there. Dallas, of course, is bringing in a whole boatload of new players as well. So you're going to have 2 teams that are very, very unfamiliar with each other.
Yeah, now you've already mentioned some of the big offseason moves, but which change do you think will have the biggest impact this season?
What happens with the Thunder from here is really going to be something to watch because, they brought in some pretty good players to replace James Harden. Kevin Martin is a very effective scorer, but he doesn't really do the kinds of things that James Harden is able to do as far as handling the ball and running the pick and roll. Oklahoma City, had they kept that core together, even if they weren't able to sign Harden long term, they still would have had him for this year, and they would have had to be considered the favorites in the Western Conference. But they're going to have to take a step back. You can't lose a guy like Harden, even if you're replacing him with a pretty good player like Kevin Martin, and not take a step back.
Absolutely. And finally, Sean, I think you and a lot of people have the Heat repeating this year. What are the obstacles out there that might prevent them from doing just that?
What's been good for the Heat is that really when you look at the way things have happened in the offseason, it's almost as if the red carpet has been rolled out. Oklahoma City would have had to have been considered a strong contender to win the championship, but with the James Harden trade, they've taken a little bit of a step back. You've got Boston as probably still their number 1 challenger in the Eastern Conference. Derrick Rose being out in Chicago, that's obviously something that kind of takes the Bulls out of being a legitimate contender. So, you go through the list and really things are shaping up pretty nicely for the Heat. Now, they've got their own injury concerns to worry about. Dwayne Wade has battled injuries in recent years, especially last year. He had trouble staying healthy, knee issues, ankle issues, a little bit of everything. And you wonder if his physical style of play is maybe not catching up with him. Certainly Chris Bosh or LeBron James, if there were injuries to either one of those guys, they don't really have, the next guy behind them.
All right, you're not making the LeBron haters feel very good there, Sean. And with that, it is time to get started with the season and see how it all plays out. From the Sporting News Studios, I'm Tom Vandervoort. Thanks for watching.